These are things, questions that I get often in the Facebook group, or people that have worked with me in the past, or they want to work with me, or they're franchisors that I'm helping out and they're my private clients. What if there's zero to just a few franchisees to validate with? Should I not look at that brand? Just because you can't validate with one brand because it's so new and you're validating with a brand that's been around for 20 years doesn't mean it's not a good opportunity. Doesn't mean it is a good opportunity, but it doesn't mean it's a bad opportunity. Now, I'm going to give you some things right here that franchisors may not want you to do. It may be right for you to do. It may not be right because it may take you down different rabbit holes. But my goal is to give you the best information that I can. So here's something that you can do. You validate the industry. How do you validate the industry? One of the things that I do is I go to a Facebook group. I start looking in these Facebook groups that are industry Facebook groups, and I learn who the gurus are in that industry, or the experts are in that industry. And then I start to understand what the business is really like, because you got people in there that are middle, are bottom, are top performers. They're not in a franchise, but they're pretty open on Facebook, and sometimes they're pretty polarizing on Facebook. They love the industry. They talk about all the good stuff, or they're talking about all the bad stuff. It is a great way to start to understand the industry. So just start to search for the top Facebook groups within a particular industry, and the amount of information that you'll be able to glean from that on the industry or how mom and pops are actually doing out there is amazing. So don't discount Facebook as a way to find really good information on an industry and how people are performing in an industry. Sometimes they're giving their revenue per month or their first year in business or whatever it is, so you can start to understand how the financials work from a mom and pop standpoint in these different industries. Now, remember this. Don't go into a Facebook group and say, hey, I'm thinking about buying this franchise. What kind of advice would you have? You're going to get advice like you're an idiot for looking at franchising. The reason is because these guys are all mom and pops, and they probably don't have any interest in doing a franchise. And some of them have such a large business, it wouldn't make sense for them to do a franchise. And some of them probably should be buying a franchise, but they're just going to do it on their own and not learn. They're going to make the mistakes on their own, costly mistakes where they could avoid them by buying a franchise. But it's just good to be aware of that. Personally, whenever I've done this myself, I've never mentioned I'm thinking about buying a franchise or the word franchise in these Facebook groups, because that's not that audience. That's not why I'm there. I'm there to gain information on the industry and how people are performing within that particular industry. The other thing that I would do is I would look at businesses for sale, because sometimes you can get your hands on financials and understand how long they've been in business, things that they've done right, things that they've done wrong, why they're getting out, all kinds of different things. But if you can get access to some businesses for sale within that industry, it's usually really, really helpful. One other thing, why can't I call franchisees? I want to call franchisees. Guys, you're in your first week in learning from a franchise and the system and the processes and everything about that. And of course you want to talk to franchisees. I know that. You know that. The franchisor knows that. That's why they have a system. You're not ready to do that. I mean, you'll learn from them, but you're wasting their time. You're wasting the franchisees' time. And all the franchisees listening to this right now, they're like, yes, Eric, keep talking about this, because people call us with stupid questions, waste of time, and they were never going to buy anyway. So everyone, if you're looking at buying a franchise, just go through the franchisor's process. They have a process. It's clearly defined. They want you to validate at a certain time. And even if you want to do something sooner, just follow their process. And they are watching to see if you follow the process. If they get word that you're talking to franchisees out of turn, they're probably not going to like that. They shouldn't like it, and they should confront you on it. And you should have a really good answer of why you did it, and then just start doing what they say. Or if you don't want to do that, don't buy that franchise. And I would probably say don't buy a franchise at all, because they have a process. Go through it. If you didn't like it, you didn't get what you wanted, then don't buy that brand. And so I would almost say, as a franchise buyer, go through their process, understand why you don't like that they're doing certain things, and be able to look at it down the road and look back and to see if it was a really good process or a poor process that they had. And if it's a poor process, don't buy that brand. So just think about it differently, reframe that in your own mind, that you're validating that they have a good process. They're validating that you are a system follower. So just think about things a little bit different, not just because you want to do something.